Hi, I'm Larry Magid of ConnectSafely.org. On May 26, 2010, Facebook announced some sweeping changes, and most people would say improvements, to its privacy policy. That move followed several weeks of controversy after Facebook had earlier done some things with its privacy policies that a lot of people didn't like. On the day they announced the privacy improvements, I sat down with Mark Zuckerberg, and I began the interview by asking how he felt about everything he had been through during the past few weeks.
Well, it's definitely been an intense couple of weeks. We rolled out some products at our developer conference, F8, around a month ago. And since then, we've really just been listening to the feedback that everyone has had on the different products that we've rolled out. And a lot of it has been really constructive. And the main thing that we heard was just that people want simpler controls over how they share information on Facebook. So we took the last couple of weeks to really build that out and make sure it worked well. And today we rolled that out. So it's an exciting time for us because we're responding to all the feedback that we're getting, and we're listening really carefully. But it's also been an intense period as well.
I remember when Facebook was the coolest thing on the planet. People were jealous because they didn't go to the right college and they couldn't get on. And over time, you guys have grown. Obviously, you must be cool because you've got nearly 500 million people using the service. But there is a movement. I guess on Monday there's a Quit Facebook Day. There are critics. I'm just curious, how does it feel to have started something that has gotten so much criticism by people?
Well, our goal was never to build something cool. It was to build something that a lot of people found useful. And now with almost, we have more than 400 million people using our services, I think you're bound to have a whole spectrum, right? Some people love the services. Some people use them but don't feel that passionately. And then there are going to be some people who are critical of what we do. But, our focus is really just to help people share information. And people really want to stay connected with their friends and family and the community around them. That's a core human need. And we just think that we can build products that help people do that. And that's what we try to do.
I do have to ask you, though, about the Quit Facebook Day and the Diaspora Project and the fact that there really are people who are concerned about it. And we haven't heard from them today. I don't know if their concerns are lower now, but I'm just curious what your reaction is to that, and especially what's going to happen on Monday.
Well, when we listen to our users, we listen to a few things. We listen to what they write, the emails they send us, the blog posts they write. We also listen to the stats, right, and the data about what people are doing. And we've found that the same number of people are promoting Facebook to their friends and encouraging them to sign up now as were before all this. And the same number of people are sharing the same number of things as they were before. And some people have talked about deactivating, but those numbers haven't changed either. So I think some people might be talking about this stuff, but when it comes down to it, I think people still feel like they can rely on Facebook as the best place for them to share and stay connected with the people that they care about. And I think that the changes that we announced today, making it even simpler to control your information, just make that even better. So yeah, I think some people are going to be critical and are going to have feedback, and we want to listen to all that feedback. But overall, it doesn't seem like anything like a big movement or anything like that.
There's a cynical reaction that, by definition, in order for Facebook to grow and make the kind of money to value the company as a multi-billion-dollar company, that it needs to do more than just put up display ads, that it needs some kind of monetization or data mining. And I'm wondering kind of your response to that. Can you build a business and make a profit and do all the things that you need to do financially and not do things that get people angry and worry them?
I think the answer is clearly yes. One of the things that we've done, we've focused on keeping the advertising on the site very kind of minimal and sparse, right? And really only good, relevant stuff to you. We run a lot less ads than a lot of other sites do. It'd be much easier for us to just have a huge number of ads on the page, and we don't. And the reason why we don't have to is because the ads work well, right? And we're making enough money to support ourselves and to keep on building great services. And over the long term, we think that the best thing that we can do is build products that help people share and stay connected with the people that they care about. If we do that, then people will use our products. And if they use our products, then we make money from advertising. So the model all works out. Now, there are all these misperceptions about how the site works, right? So and a few of them are really, really bad, right? And that I'd want to clear up right now. So there's been this one rumor that's been going around that's completely not true, which is that we give information to advertisers. And we don't. We don't give any information to advertisers. That's not the way the site works. We don't sell any information. We never will. That's not a plan or anything that we've even thought about doing. The site works by we help you share information. When you do that, you're more engaged on the site. And then there are ads on the side of the page. So the more you're sharing, the more the model all just works out,
You've been around the block on privacy. You had the Beacon situation. You've had a number of situations, even in December when you thought you were increasing privacy. Some people complained. Are you a little worried about sort of a privacy policy change fatigue? And, this is sort of the umpteenth time Facebook has changed its privacy policies?
Well, privacy is a very sensitive issue that a lot of people care about. So, yeah, we have to be careful about it. And that's why one of the things that I'm actually most excited about that we talked about today is, we've been working on these set of changes to our privacy system for the last 6 months, but now we're done. Right, so we're actually not going to make changes for a long time. And one of the things that we talked about today, this simple control, it applies not only to stuff that you've shared in the past, but to new products and services that we launch going forward. So I think we've designed these products now so that people don't have to think about this stuff as much going forward. They just set the level of privacy that they want to have, and then that'll exist for a long time and no more changes.
You famously made a comment once, which I think has been interpreted a lot about, I can't remember whether with, privacy get over it. I don't think that was your quote, but there is this notion, you're 26 years old, you're of a generation that may have a different attitude about privacy than older folks. And I'm just sort of curious sort of what your sense is going forward. Maybe even take your Facebook hat off. Just put on 26-year-old Mark. What is your sense of what it means to have privacy in the 21st century?
Well, I think people will always care about privacy, and they'll care even more about having control of how they share stuff, right? So, for example, I just went on this vacation with my family a little while back, and I wanted to share the photos from that with my family, but not with everyone, right? And if my only option was to share it with everyone, then I wouldn't have shared them at all, right? So because I was able to share the photos with exactly the set of people I wanted, in this case, just my sisters and my parents, I was able to do that. And that's I think really important to people. People care about privacy, they care about control. With the internet and with people sharing more information, I do think that how people think about this is shifting a bit just because they want to share more information with the people that they care about. And, sometimes when I talk about this, people take what I say out of context a bit, and they take what I'm saying as if, privacy isn't going to be important, or if I think it's not going to be around forever. And that's just not true. I think privacy is a fundamentally important thing that's always going to be around.
You don't have to be as smart as Mark Zuckerberg to know that when something is digital, no matter who sees it, it can be copied, cached, forwarded, stored. I mean, do you have any advice to people about privacy, regardless of your settings, just what you should and shouldn't post on Facebook or anywhere else?
Yeah, I think one thing to think about is, in the offline world, if you tell a friend about something, even if they spread it to other people, it's still, there's all this friction in the world about how stuff spreads, right, from person to person. It takes a long time. There's a lot of friction in that. Online, there isn't as much friction, right? If you share something, people could share it with other people very quickly. So I just think it's really important that when people are sharing things online, that they're thinking about that they actually share things with the set of people who they want to, right? So I wanted that photo album to go to my family only. I didn't share it with everyone. I just shared it with my family. I want to send a message to my friend or someone who I work with. I just send that message to them. I don't send it to everyone. But as long as you're thinking about this stuff, which I think most of us do all the time, I think it ends up being a very useful service.
Prior to coming over here, I posed some questions to some educator friends. I asked them, what should I ask Mark Zuckerberg? And one of the comments somebody made is that, look, Facebook doesn't allow people under 13, but the reality is that they get on. And there's a question about, have you ever thought about sort of a Facebook Junior or some way of actually welcoming under 13-year-olds, COPPA compliant, of course, and building a safe environment where they could really participate?
It's something that we've talked about a little bit, but the restrictions and regulations around it make it very difficult. So it's just never been the top of the list in terms of things that we want to do. One of the big priorities for us right now is just spreading the site and making it so that people in all countries around the world can use it to connect. And now, with more than 400 million people on the service, a lot of people in a lot of different countries use Facebook, but there's still some countries that Facebook isn't that big in yet, and we're more focused on spreading it to those countries right now. So this year, for example, we're focusing a lot on Japan and Russia.
Probably through no fault of your own, a lot of schools block Facebook and all social networking sites, yet there's a lot of really great educational resources on Facebook. And I'm wondering if you've given any thought to sort of how you expand your reach into education and get people to realize that they can be used productively.
Well, I think it gets back to what you're saying. there's a lot of valuable information out there. That's the whole mission of the company, to make the world more open and connected, to make it so that, if you have more awareness and can access more information, then that's good. And if you have more empathy for the people around you, then that's good as well. So it could potentially play a really important role in education, just helping people get access to more information. And, as the service evolves, I'm a believer that when things are valuable, people eventually realize that. So I think that if we can help out in education, then the folks who are blocking us today will come around to that and will encourage their students to use the service in the future.
So now that you've had a little bit of a bad couple weeks behind you, what are you looking forward to?
Building good products. That's what we do.
Can you be more specific as to what that means? I know you're not going to tell me company secrets, but give me a sense of sort of where we're going with this.
I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff that we're working on that will roll out in the next few months. But one of the things that I'm personally excited about, there are a bunch of products that we're building on Facebook.com, but I'm also really excited just about working with other websites and game developers to make their applications more social so that you can interact with your friends in all the different places that you go. And I don't know, I just think that the more things that we do where we can stay connected with our friends, the better the world gets. So I'm really excited about that stuff.
I hadn't planned to ask you this, but I for some reason I want to. Do you have any role models, people who you look up to?
Yeah, a bunch. Some of them are involved in the company or on our board. I mean, Don Graham was, a role model for a long time, and then he joined our board. I really look up to his long-term approach to running the Washington Post company.
And what about some people who've sort of been ahead of you? Bill Gates, he had his problem with the Justice Department. Google's having its problems right now in terms of privacy and some Federal Trade Commission issues. Is this kind of a club that you're part of now of people who have built big organizations that are on the hot seat?
It doesn't feel like a club. No, I mean, there's a lot of people who have done really cool stuff.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.